What's going on, guys? Man, it is Zuko here, and I'm here to be bringing you guys a very informative video of Luna and how she is now an S tier character, and I believe she actually brings the best team comp in the game now. But I also have a few gripes that I have with the devs, and then some balance changes that I still believe that Luna needs in order to make her stronger for the casual community, because everything I'm about to show you casuals won't be able to use. First, we're running a little bit of max MP. This legendary version of this can actually get a lot higher, so this is just the best one that I had. Currently right now you can get your max MP all the way up to like 636, so that's what you would aim for. But right now, with the way I have it built, we're just having it at 611. We're just running with it how we're running with it. Moving on, talking about her as a character, the reason why we're needing to get our max MP as high as possible is because the boosts for exciting sound scale off of your max MP number. And same thing with this 3 as well. Your boost from your relaxing sound also scale off of your max MP, which means the higher your max MP value is, the more of a skill power increase you're going to be given to your team. Basically, the simplest way for me to show this to you is take your max MP number, let's say in this case 611, and times it by 0.035, and that's how much of a skill power increase you're going to be giving. This has 100% uptime, and this boost as well has 100% uptime. Well, this is nice because this means that you're giving everyone on your team forever a 21% skill power increase, because if you do the math, that's basically what you would get there. This is nice. Now, whenever we actually did the damage calculations on this, we actually got 20. So we just thought that that was probably just like defense being taken into account. But whenever we did the damage calculations, this was actually just straight up whatever this skill power increase is, that's what you can expect to see. So it's really easy to map this out, so you'll know exactly how hard you're going to hit. So it's really easy to do damage calculations with this. So now this is nice. But whenever you give them the enhanced exciting sound, you actually go from 0.035 to 0.075. This actually puts you at a 46% DPS boost for the most part whenever you're doing this ability. Now, what's cool about this is you can get this number all the way up to 50, much higher. So again, if we actually go ahead and take the highest value that we can get in the game, so basically 636, this was the highest number that we were able to record with. So this is just what we're using as our base like number. But technically speaking, if you can get your max MP over 636 somehow, however you would do so, you can go ahead and get this number even over 47. But what you would have to do is run MP accelerant for the +3. That would give you marginal boost, but it might be worth it. I don't think so for what we're going to be talking about with the reason why the duration matters so much. So I wouldn't do it, but you float your boat however you want. Basically, this is what this is giving us. If we had 636 as our max MP, this would be giving us a 47.7 skill power boost. Now, again, taking into account defense, so this is really like 40, like we'll just put it as 47. Take away the 7. You can always like scale down. If you have a high number here, just scale down because the defense makes a difference. I basically just subtract 1 here, and that's pretty much what you can expect whenever you're doing your calculations due to defense sort of taking effect. So that again is giving you a huge DPS increase. That's basically 2 Slayer sets on top of the Slayer set. So that's insane. This DPS is actually insane, and I'm going to show you this in a video in just a moment. But on top of this, you're also getting a crit damage increase of +50. So whatever your number is, add 50%. And then your skill critical hit rate, whatever your number is, add another 35%, which means insanely big DPS boost. I'll go ahead and show you clips of how strong this is and what it brought the numbers from when they were naturally without the boost, and then what they were whenever I had this boost on the character. So you can see that this is actually the best DPS boost in the game from a character's abilities, easily. Like there's no comparison, like at all. Moving on. Now this is trash, honestly. I did a lot of testing with this, and I could show you a clip of like how much of a boost it was giving to the MP and all of that, but I'll just give you the numbers. Basically, whenever you give the normal version, this will have 100% uptime as well, because these two, again, their cooldown, I mean the duration on this is over 7 seconds, so this will always be up. And then the duration on this is over, again, 6 seconds, so you will have these built up both at a time. The regular relaxing sound is going to be giving them around a 4 point whatever skill power boost. But let's say if you have this 636 and we go ahead and time this by that, it's 007, 24.4, right? So this is again about the kind of boost that you can expect from the relaxing sound. So every single second you're giving your teammates +4 to their MP. That's kind of marginal, but it is nice because it just means it really scales really well with MP recovery and combat. Like really nice. But it doesn't matter because MP is not that valuable of a resource. There's many ways and cheaper ways to do this, and then the enhanced version of this is really mid, because whenever you do the max MP, it basically just times that by this. So kind of showcase that real quick. Basically does this 82. That's not going to be that big of a difference, but this is the immediate boost, and then you can take this number and do 26, so 026, and then you're giving them 16 MP per second. So you'd be giving them an immediate 80 something, and then you'd be giving them 16 per second for, again, the duration that you see here for the enhanced relaxing sound. This is nice, it's cool, but the biggest issue is that it doesn't do anything whenever it stands alone by itself, because right now with the way that Luna is being played, whether you're running Potent Collector or not, there's no really good way for you to build your enhancer where you can have multiple of these up at one time. So you would never want to do this because this is trash by itself, and the resource cost being cut in half is nice, but it doesn't do anything whenever, again, this is a DPS game. Especially now, I'm going to tell you guys a gripe that I have with the devs, but it's not good by itself. So I would never recommend you use an enhanced like skill for this ability. It's not good enough by itself. She needs some quality of life changes. We'll talk about that in a bit. Moving on, this one here, I did try and big brain this here, but I'm sad to tell you guys that this does not work. I tried to see if I can get myself to have a 90% skill cooldown with characters who have a dimension skill using multi-talented, and them having a 70% natural skill cooldown built into their character's kit. And when I use the multi-talented skill, that will put me at 90. If she gave this boost, if it would allow for you to get over that 90, which is the maximum skill cooldown reduction that we can get, I thought it was like, well, what if it's just based off of your build? What if another character giving you a cooldown decrease can actually make you go past that, allowing for you to have no cooldown the moment that she gives you this boost? That doesn't work. 90% skill cooldown is the cap. You can't go over that whether it's on your build or someone is giving you these. That's basically it. But this is still nice because technically speaking, if you got a character, pretty much every character in the game can actually get themselves to an 80 skill cooldown by doing something like this. Put on 2 focuses, or just put on some random ones. Put on nimble fingers. Put on MP conversion. And with these boosts, this puts you at a 74.3% skill cooldown. This is nice. And then if you put a reactor on that has skill cooldown, let's say that will be 6. So just pretend that this is now 80%. With the reactor that has like a purple skill cooldown, you'd basically be at 80. She'd put you at 90 whenever she gave you that boost, putting you at the maximum skill cooldown. So now she makes every character in the game basically able to move the decibel over 1. So for example, if your cooldown for your character was 45 seconds, move the decibel over 1 because only 10% would be left. So this is actually really cool, but there's only one weakness to it, is that we can't mess with the cooldown of this on-note success. And that's a huge issue with her in her support system, which is the reason why this is cool, but it's very situational, because if you can't use this and make it effective within 20 seconds, none of this means anything. So that's why I say all of what I'm showing you, the casual community can't take advantage of this, and they would still think the character is trash. We can think that it's good because we know how to take this knowledge and then abuse it, but people that are just playing the game to play the game, or they just enjoy a character, it's impossible to make this be worth something whenever you're not communicating or pre-planning and mapping this out. You get what I'm saying? And I'll talk about what I believe could actually make it to where that's not the case, but we'll go ahead and move on from there. So we're running max MP. Again, you can run the MP accelerator instead of the maximized duration. I would not recommend it though, because you want the skill duration. And then we're running more duration here, and then this is just kind of for life. So the reason why we're running the duration is because, technically speaking, this enhanced exciting performance, or the exciting sound, any boost that she's giving, it's going to really be a 24-second boost, because you're going to, if they're standing inside of your bubble, you're going to constantly refill the duration of that, because they're getting buffed every single like second that they're in this, which means for 14.5 seconds they're going to get this boost. And that's the reason why I believe they did 14.5, So that way you actually always give them 14.5 seconds or 14 times to refill the duration, which means after that, they now are going to get the last boost whenever this mode goes away of 10 seconds whenever you're running all of the duration modules in order to maximize your duration. Again, I'm running a legendary perk, putting me at a 10-second, which means this boost lasts for 24 seconds. 24 point, in this case, 24.3 seconds. This allows for any character who has a 90% skill cooldown with an ability that is 6 or 7 to basically be able to do that again 4 times. This is a huge DPS boost if those same skills with a 90% skill cooldown hit really hard. For example, Lepic, Blair, or Kyle. I don't think you would want to do this with the Lepic, but I think with Blair or Kyle, it actually makes sense to play it like this. Moving on. So that's basically what's going on there. Now let's go ahead and show you some clips. So right now what you're looking at is my Blair with her 2 skill boosts. So basically, I think it's called, I forgot what it's called. You know what I'm talking about. The 2 slot skill. This brought his critical hit rate to 100% and his crit damage is now 5 times, which means, again, I don't have all the boosts on him right now, so the numbers that I recorded are very skewed. Like, they're really low values, but it doesn't really matter. We weren't really caring because you can always do the math for that. Basically, you'd be able to hit for like 15 million every single 7 seconds, and that's really nice. And that's without the Enduring Legacy being taken into account as well. If you use the Enduring Legacy to lower the boss's fire resistance with Blair, then you'd actually be doing even more than that. It's just also really good for the simple fact that Blair can place down his little dot damage, and with her, and also with the way that you build Blair, I think Blair is the most slept on character in this game as well, because a lot of people sleep on his damage. Like, I'm telling you guys right now, Blair's dot damage is more insane than pretty much every other character's, because it's always going to crit, and his little 3 ability as well is extremely nice as well. That's going to hit for 500k every single 0.3 seconds. That's an insane amount of damage as well. That's kind of busted. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, but that's busted DPS. But again, you're basically sitting around here with this. So boom, I'm just moving on the crit damage. And then when I lost the boost, this is what happened. As you can see, boom, and then boom. Now check to the base skill power boost. This is 0.8 and this is 0.3. Again, she is straight up giving you a skill power base boost of that number, which means you're seeing exactly what her boost is doing. So just, that's proof that this is the case. All right, so for the first clip that I have here for you is, I believe, one of her really nice synergies here. It's a little bit too RNG based, but it's possible. This is not the most amount of damage that you can get on a Kyle. I don't have him built because of the way that the current build system is, but we're not going to talk about all of that. Just know that this number can get all the way up to 18 million if you have him built right. We already did the damage calculations, but again, it's really like not the best showcase, but for what I have, this is the most that I can do in my recordings. Again, I get the boost from the exciting sound, hit him with that ability, proc my dimension skill. This puts me at a 90% skill cooldown. Boom, hit him with that, and then boom, I hit him for basically 8 million. Now, again, this is without the actual skill power boost, so this is not the most amount of damage that I can get. And this right now has a 50% crit rate whenever I was at 15 crit rate, which means not a huge crit rate, but I got lucky with this one because I had a 50% chance of critting and I got it. So that's basically that. What this means is if you got this all the way fully upgraded and fully maxed out, like I don't have the actual big crit damage boost one, that alone is going to skyrocket your DPS. So if you had 3 Kyles that were all doing this, and again, their cooldown is actually 6 seconds because again, they're all 90% of their cooldowns are gone, so only 10 is left, and the natural cooldown on this is 60 seconds, so only 6 is left. This means that every 6 seconds you'd be able to hit the boss for 18 million. This is a lot of damage, because if you're also running the Luna with the Python, because this is non-attribute damage, and shoot them with the Python, that lowers their non-attribute resistance. This means you can now do this attack Kyle 4 times. Because how many times can you fit 6 into 24.3? You can fit it in exactly 4 times. So that's 4 opportunities to hit for 18 point something million. This would nuke pretty much everything in the game within, again, 26 seconds of actual combat. That's pretty much the whole sort of formula there. Moving on. Now, I could showcase this with the Blair synergy, and that's really nice because basically Blair is another character where, unlike Lepic, he can get his cooldowns all the way up to -90, which means that only 10% is left, but his cooldown is actually going to be 7 seconds because he has a 70-second base cooldown. So it's still nice, but Blair has a 100% crit rate chance on that, and then his crit damage just gets a little bit higher because of how his actual skills work. So you'd be able to spam a truly deadly Kazin 3 Blairs over and over and over again, so you'd be able to get 3 per Blair with the Luna, and you'd hit like a truck. So that's also really nice, but keep in mind his brand damage on top of that. That's really sweet. And then also in between you actually doing your truly deadly Kazin, while you're waiting for that cooldown to finish, you would proc your 3 skill, and that's the perfect duration that you would need in order to do that. And this is going to again hit for 500k, 0.3 seconds for 4.5 seconds. That's perfect right between that gap, and then the moment that ability is finished, you can go immediately into another truly deadly Kazin, allowing for you to basically do, how many times does 0.3 fit into 4.5 seconds? 15 times. If you're going to be hitting for 500k times 15, if everything hit, you'd be hitting for, again, this amount of damage. That is 7.5 million. This is a lot of damage to say that this is like a cooldown sort of thing. So there's no cooldown if you're using this with Blairs. That's like a really big DPS increase. And I actually have the videos of showing this, but this is going to take forever. Like, I still have so much more to show you, but just know with the Blair, this actually works really well, because like whenever you're not hitting them with the truly deadly Kazin, that's going to be hitting for about 15 million. You'd be doing DPS of 7.5, and I believe this would actually make Blair stronger than the Kyle sort of synergy. Kyle will hit a lot harder, but the Blair can make up for it with the 3 damage as well. So this is really good. And then on top of that, while the Blair is placing down his little dimension little thingies on the ground to keep his, you know, crit rate up, and all, this is also doing passive damage as well. So you're looking at possibly an extra 1 mil. So just really like 8.5 mil just from the basic damage. And then when your truly deadly Kazin hits, it's going to be hitting for 15 to 16 mil, somewhere around there. That's a lot of DPS. Now let's go ahead and showcase here the DPS that you would do from a Lepic naturally without her boost. And this is on a max Lepic. I'm talking additional attack versus Colossus, crit damage. I'm talking an actual maxed. That was 2, right? 2 mil. As you can see, he's critting, but he's not really getting that much, right? As you can see. Now that was a weak point hit. I want you guys, let me give a gripe really quick with the community. A lot of people don't understand that Lepic's DPS is not just, oh, I can nuke. No, you have to be aiming at weak points. Look at whenever he hits a weak point, look at the difference in DPS. Right? That jump shot, boom. He hit that shoulder. That was a weak point. 2 mil. Look at all these other shots. They're not hitting for nearly as hard. You guys have got to hit weak points. Anyways, moving on. So basically the fight just started here. So basically the moment I spawned into the fight, like back in the spawn, I immediately hit my 1, and I was cycling between these 2 as much as I possibly can, so I can get these numbers up as high as I possibly can. The moment that the boss drops, I go into my 4, I shoot him with this a bunch of times, so that way I can build this gauge all the way up, so that way I can proc this too really fast and give him the boost. This is the difference between what you saw without the boost to what you can see we did it. That's immediately a big increase. You see the difference, right? First shot, it hit that weak point. And then you're gonna see one higher number there, 4.1 mil, and another weak point, his little eyes there. Look at how many more shots he has to fire. What does this mean? This means with this skill power boost, Lepic can do enough DPS of 2 people. Like really fast, dang near 3 people. So this is a duo, and he's able to legit do enough DPS to probably kill a Devourer with 3 people. This means if you have 3 Lepics, they're able to do enough DPS of about 8 to 7 people. This is extremely good whenever it comes to, again, nuking bosses. So with the Luna and 3 Lepics, you would be able to nuke the heck out of a boss. Now let me show you guys this exact same thing with a different boss who isn't a potato. So I wanted him to shoot a few shots so we can get a cross comparison without the boost. So this is actually like an optimal run here, but we have runs where we did this in less than 15 seconds. But in this case, I wanted to shoot him to shoot a few shots without it, so that way you guys can see the 2.3 and all of that. Boom, he got the boost. Now watch the DPS increase. That was 4. As you can see, look at all these crits. This is an insane amount of DPS, right? And it's just Swamp Walker, not the little, you know, baby Devourer. Look at all these critical hits, right? So basically, this is an easy sub 15-second run the moment that you give Luna. So again, he is doing enough DPS of basically like 2 people, well, 3 people. So again, 3 Lepics can pretty much do enough damage of like 9 people, but let's like make it just 7 or 8, just so that way it's a little bit easier for people to understand, like whenever you're actually calculating DPS, and also the boss scaling whenever you're in 4. Now to showcase this against the hardest boss content in the game, I'll show you this. I'm shooting him, getting those boosts really quick while he's doing his little scan. Boom, give him the boost. Now it's time for him to do damage. He just rolls here. And then what I'm doing here to give him more DPS is I'm switching out of this mode, and I'm switching to my Enduring Legacy, and you're going to see the little quenching stacks here from the Enduring Legacy. Now my Enduring Legacy is not max, it was actually a stock, so the maximum amount of stacks I could get was 30, which means if I can get this to 50, this would hit even harder. The highest DPS we were able to get from this was 5.8 million, and again, that's without us being able to again get all of the fire resistance off of the boss with the 50 stacks. That would make it even hit harder. But this is where I have a gripe with the devs. Why in the hell? So right now he has a 100% crit rate. 1 crit, 2 crits, that was a weak point hit, that was 5.3 mil. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Out of like probably 100 hits, we got only 13 crits, and he has a 100% crit rate. I'm sorry, devs, but if this is how you stop the speed running community, this is going to kill your game, because some people only play the game for this, and this makes no sense. This would mean that his skill critical hit rate resistance would have to be something like 60 plus, which means he's taking off 60. Even with the 40% skill critical hit rate, I would have still gotten more crits. So his junk really has to be like 80% skill critical hit rate resistance, which means you wanted to exclusively nuke this. That is not how you balance a game. That is not how you make a boss hard. That's just BS. You don't nerf players, you make the bosses harder. You make better mechanics. This is just BS, because right now this one Lepic with this one Luna was able to take off 75% of this boss's shields. Well, actually more like 80%. And I'll prove it, because right whenever he started firing, look, when he got the big hit, look at how much he took from that one critical, which means if I actually didn't have this little dumb mechanic on this boss, I would easily, with just my Luna and this one Lepic, we'd be able to nuke him with just one Lepic. Again, he's doing the DPS of 3 people. So you nerfed a character exclusively because you didn't want us to be able to nuke the boss. That doesn't make any sense. And whenever he got that 4, as you can see, boom, boom, boom. Now watch what happens the moment he stops shooting. Look at their DPS. They tickling him. So all of that DPS you saw was just from one Lepic. We're fishing for the fastest time, and you're forcing everyone to do gun DPS. Now we breaking it, you know, again, with 3 Lepics, we can still get it run sub 20 with this, but I was trying to get it sub 10, but we're not getting sub 10 because of this stupid little skill critical hit resistance that you put on the boss. If this new boss comes out with that, I'm done with this. Like, I'm not doing any more synergy. I'm not doing none of that, because what's the point of doing all of this hard work if that's our reward? Us finding out, oh great, you BSing. Like, no. Anyways, if you're trying to do skill range, then this is all you really need, just nimble steps and then amplification control. So technically speaking, you run all of this, run amplification control, run nimble footsteps, and this would allow for you to get your maximum expandable range to 250. So it's really easy for her to extend her range like really wide without you having to do that much of an investment, which allows for you to again run potent collector right here. In like mobbing purposes, this allows for you to get again those enhanced skills really fast. So I do think that you need to run amplification control with her, potent collector, and then right here you can run any sort of quality of life skills that you would want. It wouldn't really matter. So that's pretty much Luna for you. The changes I believe needs to happen. Let's talk about balance changes, because everything I've shown you can only work with a coordinated team who's actively taking advantage of these things. Is you need to move the base duration for her boost that she gives to her team from 5 to 10 base, which means now if we're running all of the current duration modules in the game that give you the biggest boost possible, now putting this at 20. And then the last thing is you need to make this on note success cooldown for this 4 from an insane 45 to 20 or 25. I'll take 25, but I really want 20, because then it allows for us to again build towards something and not be completely neutered off the character. Because again, this skill is trash by itself. If I can't pair this skill with this enhanced, this is trash. This will never be better than this, so there's no need to ever proc this. So this is a useless enhanced skill. And same thing with this one, this is useless as well, because there's no sort of character in the game right now that would benefit from having their cooldown completely taking off that doesn't already have the ability to completely take off all of their cooldowns and take advantage of this. So this is a trash enhanced skill that has no value, because I can't use this with this. So this needs to go to 20 seconds on note success, because these are 7 and this one is 6. Why is this one 45? It's like you guys like didn't want to make her a good support character. We still found a way, but like, come on now. Anyways, that's everything that I have for you guys here today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Luna is S tier now in a very specific format. I think her support is good. I think nimble footsteps with amplification control allows for her to have an extremely wide range as well, allowing for her to really keep all of these boosts up for your team no matter where they are on the map. And you give yourself a movement speed boost as well, so it's nice. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Devs, get y'all stuff together, bro, because this annoyed me more than I wanted to. We out.